Daniel Ricciardo's debut return to the F1 might not go very well. Previously, Ricciardo impressed Red Bull with his timing while driving the Red Bull car, but at the Budapest GP he will be driving the worst car of the 10 teams. Nyck De Vries was sacked for not getting a single point, while the other driver, Yuki Tsunoda, only has achieved 2 points. How will Ricciardo's first race go? Will he achieve points? Rather than returning to the competitive RB19 car that he excelled in during the recent Silverstone tyre test, Daniel Ricciardo will be faced with a different challenge as he joins the struggling AlphaTauri team. To make matters worse, the AT04 car has a critical weakness in an area that has historically troubled Ricciardo: corner entry and braking. Ricciardo is known for his skills in cars that perform well in these aspects, allowing him to showcase his talent through late braking overtakes. However, his time at McLaren revealed the consequences of driving a car that lacks the desired confidence on corner entry. As Ricciardo explained in a previous interview, the issues often originate at the corner entry, affecting the car's overall performance, including the exit. It is crucial for him to have a strong entry to set himself up for success. With this knowledge, Ricciardo faces the task of adapting to the characteristics of the AT04 and finding a way to maximize its potential despite its weaknesses. It's unfortunate for Ricciardo to learn that Yuki Tsunoda and Nyck De Vries have struggled this season with a similar issue: rear instability during the late entry phase of corners. This instability can significantly impact driver confidence. Jonathan Edholz, AlphaTauri's head of trackside engineering, openly acknowledged the team's ongoing efforts to address this critical problem. They've made improvements, but the rear instability remains a weakness. The problem for AlphaTauri seems to occur when the car decelerates, causing the rear ride height to increase as the downforce decreases. This change in ride height creates an aerodynamic imbalance. Earlier this year, Jody Eddington, the technical director, explained that their goal was to enhance rear load at high rear ride heights. Currently, the instability is caused by a drop in load at these ride heights. Improving the rear load during the entry phase of corners is crucial to enhancing stability. AlphaTauri is focused on carrying this improvement further into the corner, allowing the driver to push harder towards the late entry apex. The challenges of setting up the current generation of ground effect cars have made it difficult to find a compromise that works well in various types of corners. A problem in one area can impact performance in other parts of the lap. Addressing the weakness in late entry can affect other aspects of the car's performance. For example, adjusting aero balance for high-speed corners can be limited if low-speed entry is problematic. Finding the right compromise is a constant trade-off for the team. The updates introduced by AlphaTauri at the British Grand Prix were aimed at improving this specific area. Although Yuki Tsunoda didn't provide a strong endorsement, the team continues to work on extracting better performance. Developing and implementing aero changes takes time, as there is inertia involved. However, the team expects to see the effects of their target changes in this area going forward. How quickly AlphaTauri can address this issue will be crucial for Ricciardo's performance for the remainder of the season. With his previous experience at McLaren, he likely has valuable insights into what is needed to resolve the corner entry challenges. The primary reason why Daniel Ricciardo is racing for AlphaTauri this season is likely to further evaluate his performance and sharpen his racing skills before potentially replacing Sergio Perez at Red Bull in 2024. This is based on the assumption that Perez doesn't significantly improve his results quickly. If the main flaw that affected Ricciardo's performance at McLaren, which was instability on corner entry, exists in the AlphaTauri as well, it could jeopardize his chances of securing a future seat in Formula 1 and overshadow the impressive performances of Yuki Tsunoda. Ricciardo must aim to not only match but also outperform Tsunoda comprehensively for the remainder of the season to secure his position. Failing to do so would diminish his chances of securing a Red Bull seat and diminish interest from other teams. Nevertheless, restarting his career with AlphaTauri is a better option than being a reserve driver or taking a year off. It provides him with an opportunity to showcase his abilities. Additionally, considering how quickly McLaren turned things around after making changes, there is potential for AlphaTauri to improve significantly with additional support from Red Bull and a new team principal. The 2023 season may be challenging for both AlphaTauri and Ricciardo, but it is crucial to keep things interesting and maintain motivation. Looking ahead to 2024, there could be potential for AlphaTauri to adopt the unique suspension used by Red Bull and McLaren. But such a significant change is unlikely to occur mid-season. Although it may not be the most favorable situation for Ricciardo, it is hoped that he has learned from his struggles at McLaren, specifically regarding the characteristics of the car. This experience should better prepare him for the challenges he may face with AlphaTauri. Driving a high-performance car like the Red Bull during a tire test is easier compared to driving a less capable car at the same speed. Yuki Tsunoda pushes hard without knowing any better. When you have experienced driving the best, it can be frustrating when the car doesn't respond as desired. This decision may not be the ideal move for Ricciardo. Mark Webber revealed that he advised Daniel Ricciardo not to leave Red Bull when he was considering his options for the 2019 season. However, Ricciardo chose to move to Renault, which marked the beginning of a 4-year departure from the team. Ricciardo joined Red Bull in 2014 as Webber's replacement and went on to win 7 races with the team. However, after finishing third in the standings twice and witnessing Max Verstappen's rise as Red Bull's star driver, Ricciardo decided to seek a new challenge. He signed with Renault but later agreed to a deal with McLaren during his 2nd season with the team. Although he secured his 8th Formula 1 victory with McLaren in the 2021 Italian Grand Prix, he faced difficulties and struggled to understand why. Webber believes that Ricciardo should have stayed with Red Bull and expressed his opinion to him back in 2018. Despite Webber's advice, Ricciardo was eager to join Renault and later moved to McLaren. Ricciardo will make his return to racing at the Hungarian Grand Prix after impressing Red Bull during his recent Silverstone tire test. It is reported that Red Bull made room for Ricciardo by reportedly dismissing Nyck De Vries. Webber also commented on Ricciardo's return, stating that he needs to perform well against his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda, and handle the pressure effectively. As Daniel Ricciardo prepares for his Formula 1 comeback at the Hungarian Grand Prix, he knows he faces a tough challenge in an AlphaTauri car that currently sits at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has shed light on the bigger picture behind Ricciardo's decision to join AlphaTauri as a replacement for Nyck De Vries. Horner stated that Ricciardo is aiming to prove himself as the top candidate for a seat at Red Bull in 2025 when Sergio Perez's contract expires. Horner clarified that Ricciardo's evaluation is focused on the following year rather than 2024. While Red Bull's drivers for next year will be Max Verstappen and Perez, Ricciardo is viewed as a talented reserve option. By joining AlphaTauri, Ricciardo believes he can position himself strongly for the 2025 Red Bull seat. The decision to place Ricciardo at AlphaTauri for the remainder of the season was made swiftly during the Silverstone tire test. Ricciardo's impressive performance in Red Bull's RB19 car, which would have secured him a front-row starting position at the British Grand Prix, played a significant role in finalizing the decision. Horner expressed his astonishment at Ricciardo's performance during the Silverstone tire test. Despite not having driven the car for 7 months, Ricciardo quickly closed the gap and achieved lap times within a second of Red Bull's regular drivers. His confidence grew with each run, and his impressive first flying lap would have placed him at the front of the grid. While acknowledging the challenges that Ricciardo may face in the AlphaTauri, Horner emphasized that the Australian showed no reluctance in taking on the task. The team wanted to ensure that Ricciardo was prepared for the tough competition and the possibility of starting in the lower qualifying positions. However, Ricciardo was eager to return to the grid and be an F1 driver again. Horner explained that it would have been unfair to place a rookie like Liam Lawson in the seat instead of someone as experienced as Ricciardo. He also discussed the decision to replace De Vries, citing a feeling that De Vries hadn't met expectations. Despite recognizing De Vries' capabilities and achievements, Horner felt that his presence didn't align well with Red Bull's junior program and viewed it as a temporary arrangement. Regarding the timing of the decision, Horner believed it was difficult to wait until after De Vries' home race at Zandvoort. Instead, they chose to act promptly, allowing Ricciardo 12 races to demonstrate his capabilities in the car. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.